Do what? Hey. Don't need, it's not Share Monday. I know, so that really means it's not Share Monday since it's Tuesday. All right, 6.4. Huh? Just let her don't tell her. Eventually she's going to have to open her ears and listen. All right. Yesterday, see where we left off yesterday. Okay, corresponding. Okay, so I didn't cover those. Okay. So, day 2, I want you to look at page 291. Okay, look at page 291. All right. I want to look at number 9. Number 9 there has 2 triangles, A to B, and it says the figures are similar. Find the ratio of the lengths of the corresponding sides of figures A to B. So they want your ratio as A over B. Okay, so when you're doing the corresponding sides, they want the ratio as A over B. Now, this is what I was talking about yesterday. As you look at these angles, okay, each angle, one has 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, okay? The corresponding angles up here are those, so 1 mark, that one, so D and G are corresponding angles. 2 marks, J and F are corresponding angles. Okay, 3 marks, H and E are corresponding angles. Okay, we need to know that because that helps us understand what the corresponding sides are. Okay, and we have to have corresponding sides to figure the angle. Now, so from here, going from 1 to 2, 1 mark to 2 marks. If we do the same thing down here on a triangle A, you have that right there. So the corresponding sides for number 9 are D, line segment DF over line segment GJ. Okay? So what we do to figure the ratio is then we get, and I could have used any of the 3. Okay? I could have used DE and GH. I could have used those 2 sides. Okay, it'll come up to be the same ratio. We proved that yesterday in our example yesterday. So the A to B would be 6 over 7.8. Okay, just like yesterday, we can't have decimals in our fractions, so you got to move it once here, once there. So you really have 60 over 78. Okay, 60 over 78 will reduce to what? What can I reduce it by? Okay, 2. So I reduce it by 2. That gives me 30 over what? Two goes into 78 how many times? 39. Okay. Now, is there a common factor between 30 and 39? 3. So I have to divide by 3 to top and bottom. 3 there, 3 there. That means 10 over 13. So the ratio of the side lengths are 10 over 13 for number 9. Okay? Now, Number 10, huh? Doesn't matter which side I use, no. You could use, let's say that you wanted to use this side where it went 2 to 3, so that's that side. So that would be 3 over 3.9, okay? But I can't have the decimal, so I got to move it, and so that's 30 over 39. And there's that one right there, so it's going to end up being 10 over 13 as well. Okay, now let's look at number 10. What is the ratio for number 10? No, what is the ratio for 10? What is the actual numbers? Thank you. Right, because it's the same. It's the same square. Okay, isn't it? Look, it says right here. That is the same as that. They all have 1 mark, so that means all the sides are congruent. They're all congruent on the other one, so the ratio is 1 because it's the same. Okay, in other words, you're not going to multiply side ZY times 2 to get KL. Okay, that's already the same, so you don't have to do anything. Okay? All right, let's look at 11. I want you to do number 11 on your own. Obviously, they're not the same. They're similar, but they're not congruent. So I want you to do it on your own. Now, obviously, they're rectangles. What do we know about rectangles? No, not all. It begins with an O. No. Opposite sides are congruent. So, as we look at this side and this side are congruent. We know that this is the shortest side here. We know that here and here are congruent, here are congruent, which is the shorter side over here. 10, obviously. So you can use either one of them. Either one of the measurements, either the long side or the short side, to figure out what the ratio is. When you have the ratio, raise your hand. All right. This one here, once again, you either take 10 over 15 and reduce it, or you take 14 over 21 and reduce it. Either way, when you reduce it, you'll come up with 2/3 on each one of them. So 2/3 would be your answer to your ratio of the lengths. Okay. Now on the triangles over here, these are the corresponding sides right there. The triangles are basically in the same, in other words, we didn't flip it, we didn't reverse it. It's basically they're the same. Okay? And so basically then you're going to take, and here's where this one's a little bit different, you're going to take 1.5 over 1. The other ones, it was the smaller figure was A and the larger figure was B, and it was A over B. Here, the larger figure's A and the smaller figure's B, but it's still, the ratio is still A over B. And so in this one, we can't have a decimal, so we move the decimal out once. We do the same thing on the bottom number. That gives us 15 over 10.
How is 14 over 21?
15 over 10 is reduced by 5, and that gives us 3 over 2 as our ratio there. Yes, Haley?
How is 14 over 21
Divide by 7 to top and bottom.
Oh. Okay. Wait, it's okay if it's the bigger number at the top?
In that particular case, because that's how they set up the figures. Because they always want the ratio to be the A figure to the B figure.
So technically you're just dividing.
Technically you're dividing? No, you got a fraction and you're just reducing it.
Reducing, yeah. Reducing by this.
Okay. All right. As we look at 13, 14, and 15, says given that RSTU is similar and congruent, okay, that's what that symbol right there means. It means similar and congruent. Okay? That's why we have the little S and then the equal sign. It means congruent, basically. Now, so they said R and A are similar. There's A and there's R. Okay? So what does angle R have to be if angle A is 128 degrees? Huh? Yeah, it has to be the same because they're congruent. Okay? Now they're not, they've obviously been flipped away from each other. Then it says B and S are the same. So angle B and angle S are the same. So if S is 110 degrees, what does B have to be? 110. Okay, then it says angle C and angle T. So there's T and there's C. Okay, we don't know what the measurement of those angles are. Okay, but we do know then that BC has to be 14 inches, so what does ST have to be? 14 inches. So that has to be 14 inches as well. Okay? And we know that R and S are the same, so A and B have to be the same. So what is 18 inch? What is the measure of our AB? 18 inches. Okay. Do what? What do you mean the bottom one? Yes. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. I can only give you the answer in one part of the page. I can't give it to you.
How did you do that?
How did I do what? How did I do what, Haley?
Yeah, I'm confused. How do you,
Okay, I'm asking for an explanation so I can help.
How did you get 18?
I got 18 because this line right here is the same as this line. And since they're both similar and congruent, meaning equal, then it has to be the same on both figures because they're equal. They're congruent. If it's not congruent, then I can't say that. But since it says it's congruent, then I can say that. What? We just gave you the answers. I'm not going to actually write them in the blank for you.
Wait, is that filling in the thingamabob?
Filling in the thingamabob?
Filling in the other side of the figure.
No, they want to know the measurement of angle R. What is the measurement of angle R?
It's 128.
There you go. Write it down. Circle it. I know that's hard.
128, right? No, I was asking, you're just doing what seems like the same thing.
I was just doing the questions without telling you I was doing the questions. Because I want you to have to think on your own for part of it. But obviously y'all have a hard time doing that. Yes, Haley. So your homework. Your homework is 6.4. We're going to finish up. Obviously you had 1 through 9 last night. You're going to do 1 through 20 and 24 through 30. Okay, and you still got 20 some odd minutes to work on it. All right, so we're going to get started.